Roe versus Wade was overturned yesterday, and I understand why a lot of American citizens are a little confused about what this means, because the most popular president ever voted in the United States history, former Vice President Joe Biden, was confused about it, and his reaction probably confused a lot of American citizens.
I believe Roe v. Wade was the correct decision as a matter of constitutional law and application of the fundamental right to privacy and liberty in matters of family and personal autonomy. It was a decision on a complex matter that drew a careful balance between a woman's right to choose earlier in her pregnancy and the state's ability to regulate later in her pregnancy. A decision with broad national consensus that most Americans of faith and backgrounds found acceptable, and that had been the law of the land for most of the lifetime of Americans today. And it was a constitutional principle upheld by justices appointed by Democrat and Republican presidents alike. Roe v. Wade was a 7-2 decision written by a justice appointed by a Republican president, Richard Nixon. In the 5 decades that followed Roe v. Wade, justices appointed by Republican presidents from Eisenhower, Nixon, and Reagan, George W. Bush, were among the justices who voted to uphold the principles set forth in Roe v. Wade. It was 3 justices named by one president, Donald Trump, who were the core of today's decision to upend the scales of justice and eliminate a fundamental right for women in this country. Make no mistake, this decision is a culmination of a deliberate effort over decades to upset the balance of our law.
Just to make this clear, the Supreme Court ruling is not banning abortions altogether. It's just making it a state issue. No longer can the federal government get involved in it. So if your state says you can't get an abortion at all, you cannot get an abortion in that state. But if your state says you can get an abortion all the way up to after the baby is born, which some states do, you can do that. It just depends on the state that you're in.
It's a realization of an extreme ideology and a tragic error by the Supreme Court, in my view. The court has done what it has never done before, expressly take away a constitutional right that is so fundamental to so many Americans that had already been recognized. The court's decision to do so will have real and immediate consequences. State laws banning abortion are automatically taking effect today.
Nowhere in the Constitution does it say that abortion is a constitutional right. It's nowhere in there. And it's kind of crazy that individuals like leftist presidents or former vice presidents, Joe Biden, will sit here and try to tell you that abortion is a constitutional right, and at the same time want to ban guns and take your right to bear arms, which is actually a constitutional right in the Second Amendment. If really these Democrats want to do it the right way and make abortion part of the Constitution, just do it the right way. Just do the concession to states and all this good stuff and do it legally. But the reason is, and why they won't do it, is because nobody will agree to the crazy things like killing babies, especially all the way up to 9 months.
And if Congress, as it appears, lacks the votes to do that now, voters need to make their voices heard. This fall, we must elect more senators and representatives who will codify women's right to choose into federal law once again. Elect more state leaders to protect this right at the local level. We need to restore the protections of Roe as law of the land. We need to elect officials who will do that. This fall, Roe is on the ballot. Personal freedoms are on the ballot. The right to privacy, liberty, equality, they're all on the ballot.
With the midterms being this year and the 2024 presidential election coming up, Joe Biden and other Democratic leftist politicians are trying to pull this trick to make it seem like these elections will be over one issue, one policy, which is Roe versus Wade, or the gun issue, which is untrue. Because if voters are really smart and paying attention to what's going on, they can actually see that the leftist Democrats are really failing at everything they've been doing and they've been supporting, which is why we have such a high rate of inflation, gas prices, groceries, crime, rent, and why individuals are unable to buy houses. So please don't let these people fool you to think that Roe versus Wade will be the reason why you will vote for them, because everything they've been supporting and putting in place, their policies, have been failing us so far.
Until then, I will do all in my power to protect a woman's right in states where they will face the consequences of today's decision. While the court's decision cast a dark shadow over a large swath of the land, many states in this country still recognize a woman's right to choose. So, if a woman lives in a state that restricts abortion, the Supreme Court's decision does not prevent her from traveling from her home state to the state that allows it. It does not prevent a doctor in that state from treating her. As the Attorney General has made clear, women must remain free to travel safely to another state to seek care they need. My administration will defend that bedrock right. If any state or local official, high or low, tries to interfere with a woman's exercising her basic right to travel, I will do everything in my power to fight that deeply un-American attack.
One of Joe Biden's handlers need to let him know that he just made the perfect argument for conservatives for the vaccine mandates and vaccines. It's like, yo, the American people are freely able to travel. We shouldn't have to answer to the government in order to travel across our own country. But let me know in the comment section down below, do you think the overturning of Roe versus Wade was a good thing or a bad thing? Me personally, I think it was a good thing because it kind of loosens up the power for the federal government and gives the power back to the states, so we're able to vote for what we want. And also, I'm just not into killing babies, especially as a black man, and knowing that 40% of the babies aborted in America are black babies. Yeah, it kind of sounds like genocide. But I'm your host, TJ Evans, with another episode of TJ Evans Show. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the page if you like this video, and hit the bell for notifications, and comment down below just to help us with the algorithms and all that. Yeah, Rumble, YouTube, Royal Family Studios. Check us out. Y'all stay up, stay safe, do your own research.